Identifying an auditory learner involves observing someone's preferred learning style and how they engage with information. Here are some signs that may indicate a person is an auditory learner. Preference for spoken information. Auditory learners tend to prefer listening to information rather than relying heavily on visual aids. They may show a preference for audiobooks, lectures, or discussions as their primary mode of learning. Verbal expression. Auditory learners often have a strong verbal aptitude and enjoy expressing themselves through spoken communication. They may frequently talk or explain concepts aloud to reinforce their understanding. Good listening skills. Auditory learners typically have excellent listening skills and can absorb information effectively through lectures, presentations, or conversations. They may demonstrate attentiveness and engagement when information is presented orally. Excellent recall of spoken information. Auditory learners often have a strong memory for verbal information. They may remember details of conversations, spoken instructions, or discussions better than visual details or written text. Difficulty with visual distractions. Auditory learners may struggle with visual distractions or information overload in visual-rich environments. They may prefer quiet study spaces or use noise-canceling headphones to minimize distractions and focus on listening. Enjoyment of music and rhythm. Auditory learners often have a heightened appreciation for music and rhythm. They may find that incorporating music into their study routine or using rhythmic patterns aids their learning and memory retention. Preference for group discussions. Auditory learners tend to thrive in group discussions or study groups where they can engage in verbal exchange. They may benefit from bouncing ideas off others and engaging in dialogue to solidify their understanding. Tendency to read aloud. Auditory learners may have a habit of reading aloud, even when studying independently. They may find that hearing the words helps them better comprehend and retain the information. Remember that individuals can have a combination of learning styles, and it's not always a strict categorization. It can be helpful to provide a variety of learning modalities that cater to different preferences to enhance the learning experience for individuals with diverse learning styles. For auditory learners who learn best through listening and oral explanations, here are some methods that may be suitable. Lecture and discussion. Participate in lectures or discussions where the information is presented verbally. Actively listen to the speaker, take notes, and engage in discussions to reinforce understanding and retention. Record and listen, record lectures, class discussions, or study sessions, and listen to the recordings later. This allows auditory learners to review the material at their own pace and reinforce their understanding through repeated listening. Oral presentations. Give oral presentations or speeches on the topic being studied. Explaining concepts aloud helps auditory learners consolidate their understanding and improves their verbal communication skills. Podcasts and audiobooks. Listen to educational podcasts or audiobooks related to the subject matter. This method allows auditory learners to absorb information through oral explanations and discussions. Study groups and verbal quizzes. Engage in study groups or pair up with a study partner to engage in verbal quizzes or discussions. Talking through concepts and asking and answering questions orally helps reinforce learning for auditory learners. Verbal repetition. Repeat information aloud to yourself or explain it to others. Auditory learners benefit from hearing the information spoken, which aids in memory retention. Mnemonic devices. Create verbal mnemonic devices such as rhymes, chants, or jingles to remember important information. The rhythmic and melodic qualities of these devices can enhance auditory learners' recall. Oral explanations. Teach concepts or explain ideas to others in your own words. By verbalizing information, auditory learners reinforce their understanding and identify any gaps in their knowledge. Audio-based learning resources. Utilize audio-based learning resources such as educational podcasts, online lectures, or language learning apps that focus on listening comprehension and auditory learning. Music and melodies. Create songs or use existing educational songs to memorize information. Associating information with melodies and rhythms can be an effective way for auditory learners to retain knowledge. Remember, auditory learners benefit from hearing information and engaging in oral activities. Incorporating verbal explanations, discussions, and listening exercises into the learning process can greatly support their learning style.